Hi, welcome to the Middle School Ministry of Mount Pleasant Christian Church. My name is Mike Shealy. I'm the middle school pastor, and this is the place for you to grab the teaching, a little bit of information related to our ministry for students in grades 5, 6, 7, and 8. Since it's the summer, that means it's students who will be going into grades 5, 6, 7, and 8 this fall, not the ones who just completed that. I hope that makes some kind of sense this early in June. We are diving in and getting things kind of rolling. For our church, this is promotion weekend. That means June 5th and 6th is when everybody goes to the grade that they'll be entering in the fall, and that's the ministry they participate in going forward. And so hopefully for you, if you're watching this, you are going to be in 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. We're not going to stop you if you're older or younger, but just know that if you have just finished 8th grade, that we now want you to connect with our high school ministry. So you need to check that out. They have service on Sunday nights from 6 to 7:30 in the Student Ministry Center called Engage. And they have their own social media accounts and ministry, so you can check them out on there. But if you are going into grades 5, 6, 7, and 8, this is now the place for you to connect with us online. So for our in-person services, we're doing a game called Alphabet Getting to Know You, but it's something that you can do from home. And so I want to challenge you with that and kind of explain how it works. In person, we're handing out a sheet that looks like this. It's real simple. You can even make it at home. It's just one letter of the 26 letters of the alphabet per line with two little spots there to write something down. And so if we zoom in on this, on the sheet, what we're wanting you to do is try to find a characteristic of somebody that fits each letter. So not finding someone with a letter and their name that starts with an A, B, C, D, etc., but finding someone who that letter describes a characteristic about them, something they like to do, something they like to eat, a place they like to go, whatever that is. So let me give you a few examples on here. Maybe you find somebody who likes to play basketball, their name is Matt. Then you write down basketball for B, and Matt would be their name. Maybe you've talked to this guy named Chris and find out he likes Dunkin' Donuts. Well, then you write Dunkin' Donuts for D, and you write Chris's name next to that. So again, it's not the letter of the name that matters, it's what they like that matters. Or you're talking to Amanda, whose name does start with A, but she's really good at archery and really enjoys that at summer camp, and so you write that down for A. So you're starting to catch the hang of things here. Two more examples. Maybe Julie loves elephant ears at the fair, and so you write that down for E. And then this guy named Zach really loves comic books, so you write that down for C. This is what your sheet would begin to look like. My challenge for you, even if you're not here in person, you can text people, you can message them, you can call them to fill out a sheet and to try to see, can you get 26 different names on there of people that you get to know better. Some of that could be family. That's totally fine. Talk to them, maybe find a letter about something that's new you didn't already know about them, maybe your neighbors, maybe some kind of teammate. Can you fill out all 26 of these by the end of this summer? That's the challenge. Students in service are able to fill out somewhere between 5 and 10, depending on how brave they were at getting to know new people. How well can you do at filling this out? You don't have to have the actual sheet. You can do it on a piece of paper from home. That is our activity called Alphabet Getting to Know You. We just want to give you a challenge to try that out and see what you think. In our summer series, we're going to be doing something called Summer Road Trip. And it's a special partnership this summer between both the middle school ministry and the high school ministry. We're both going to be looking at Saul, who changed his name to Paul when Jesus changed his life. And then he went on this missionary journey, actually 3 different journeys that we have record of. And we're going to be looking at some of those stops along the way. So whether you are in middle school and you don't have any more siblings, or you've got older siblings who are in high school, you'll all be talking about different parts of the book of Acts this summer as we work through Summer Road Trip. As we get rolling, I'm going to use this picture-in-picture feature to be able to show you some things that need to be on the full screen, and we'll go back and forth and see if that works okay for you. So one of the first things I want to talk about is that I said you are 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So let me introduce you to what it would have looked like if you would have met me when I was your age. And so here is 5th grade Mike Shealy, loving recess, loving elementary school, enjoying that life. And for me, 6th grade was the last year of elementary school. And so if you're in 6th grade and you met me, this is what I would look like. No beard, no spiked hair. All that was not coming until college. If you're in 7th grade, right in the middle of middle school, that was my first year of what our school called junior high. And so this is what I looked like in 7th grade. And then in 8th grade, if you're finishing up middle school this year, this is what it would look like for me my last year of junior high. Okay, here's the deal. Each of those versions of me, there was one thing that was the same all 4 years, and that I loved finding out who was going to be in my class. Not because I wanted to see like how many of my friends are going to be with me. That was always kind of a cool thing, but that was a bonus. I was looking forward to who were the people I was going to be with that I wasn't with last year. I liked mixing things up and getting to have new people and getting to know some new students. And so for me, that was an exciting part. I know some of you hate that. You want to be with your core of friends as much as you can, but that was me. So let's flip the table here and talk about you for a little bit this morning. If you are a fifth grader, we just want to say welcome. This is your first weekend officially with us, moving over from fourth grade in Bibleopolis to being in our middle school ministry, and we are excited to have you. We can't wait to see what the next 4 years looks like with you in our ministry. You are just getting started, and we want you to know that you are welcome and you are wanted here. If you are in sixth grade this year, you just completed a kind of unusual first year with us last year, and now we're getting rolling and you're making it into your second year. So congratulations on finishing that first year that was very strange because this time last year we were online only, and so you didn't get to have some of the same kind of summer experiences. But you're with us now. We're rolling into the last summer at Camp Allendale and getting ready to enjoy your second year with us in the middle school ministry. If you are in seventh grade, you've had 2 really unusual years with us, with your fifth grade year ending in the pandemic and your sixth grade year starting with the pandemic. And so now here we are at seventh grade. You're getting to go to Mix, getting to go to camp again, hopefully getting to enjoy Believe and some retreats and things this year. So we just want to say welcome. We want to have you here. We're excited to have you here. And we hope that you enjoy this next 2 years in our middle school ministry. And last but not least, our eighth graders coming back for their final year with us in middle school ministry. We know that you have had some things that have gotten missed over the last 2 years, and we hope to have such a really good eighth grade year that it makes up for some of the things that got missed, and you get some bonuses along the way of things that we've learned and kind of figured out as we've navigated through these times. Well, here's the deal. We want to talk about community today. And so I thought we would dig in to the Bible in the very first book to do that. We are going to look at what it means to be in community by looking at examples from the Bible who had really great community. So that sounds like community. Community is a group of people being together, okay? And so in Genesis chapter 1, as we look at that, that is where God created everything. And he creates human beings, male and female, and they're together and they're hanging out with God. And it's the way things were supposed to be. And then sin came in and messed it up. But in those first 2 books of Genesis, what we see is the original community. We see community, people being together the way God wanted it to be. And so if you're taking notes, we've got a spot there with Genesis 1 and 2 to look at original community. And then sin messed things up. Jesus came along, died for our sins, and starts a new community. So let's look at Acts chapter 2, verses 42 to 47, and see what that community looked like. It says, all the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to sharing in meals, including the Lord's Supper, and to prayer. A deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. And all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all the while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And each day, the Lord added to their fellowship those who were being saved. Man, so what a great description. So many things are going on here. Generosity, joy, being together, meals, teaching, serving, miracles. God's doing some awesome stuff. And what we're seeing here is a new community. It's not perfect, but it's a community that resembles what God had intended in the very beginning. And so we've got a challenge. As we look at the original community in Genesis and look at the new community in Acts, what can we in our middle school ministry, as a part of Mount Pleasant Christian Church, as a part of our families and neighborhoods and schools and communities, what can our community look like? And so we're going to zoom in specifically to our middle school ministry. And I'm going to give you a few words of encouragement and challenge today. So the first one is this. I want you to remember that you are welcome. One of the cool things about Jesus is that people that weren't welcome any other place were welcome with him. We want you, whether you have always grown up around church or you don't even know the first thing about Jesus, we want everybody to feel welcome here in our middle school ministry at Mount Pleasant Christian Church. And not only welcome, we want you to remember that you are wanted. We want to have you here. We love being around middle school students, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and we want you to come here and be a part of what's going on. And then beyond that, we not only want you to want to be here, to know that you're wanted, we want you to make it a priority. We know that you have a lot of things going on in your schedule, and we know that if the church is going to be a group of people that grows close, like we saw in that original community in Genesis or like that new community in Acts, we've got to make each other a priority, making this something important on our calendar that we get here for. And so if you can do that, remember you're welcome, remember that you're wanted, and then make this a priority, and that will begin to change things for you and for others. And part of that is that you'll begin to invite and bring friends. Some of you, it just means a matter of asking your friend, hey, do you want to go to church with me? And you know what? If they say no, no big deal. It's the same as saying, hey, do you want to go to a movie or a baseball game? When someone says no, it's not the end of the world, and you might ask them again. But even bring them, talk to your parents, say, hey, if I invite my teammate, if I invite my neighbor or my friend to come to church, can we pick them up and bring them with us to service, whether that's Saturday at 6 or Sunday at 9:15? Or maybe you get together with them for breakfast and you watch the online service together. Or you're like, hey, this video's on YouTube. We can grab some pizza and watch this at 10 o'clock at night. Whatever works for you, invite and bring your friends into the community we have here at Mount Pleasant Christian Church in the middle school ministry. And we want you to get involved. We want you to be serving. If you're watching these videos and going, man, I would love to be a part of the YouTube videos we have, then get in touch with me. Tell me what you like to do. What kind of content would you like to make? How would you like to be a voice that helps share what's going on here in our middle school ministry? You might be like, yeah, but I'm just a 5th grader. I'm just a 7th grader. There's no just. You are that grade. What would you like to do to help reach your friends and using our YouTube platform? Maybe you want to do something behind the scene. Maybe you want to be in front of the camera. Maybe you have some creative ideas for drawings you could do, or you're good at making presentations. We want you to be able to figure out, how has God shaped you? Can you use that then to serve, and let us help you with that process? So remember you're welcome. Remember you're wanted. Make this a priority. Invite and bring friends, and get involved. If I could share just one thing with you that I want to make sure you get out of today's lesson, it's this. We need each other. This isn't about just me needing you to come here because this is my job, or you need to come here because there's so much I had to teach you. We need each other. In the original community, Adam needed Eve, Eve needed Adam, Adam and Eve both needed God. In the new community, the disciples needed each other. Some sold what they had to provide for others' needs. Some, instead of selling their home, kept their home, but invited people in to be a part of the community there. When you come into church, sometimes what you share and what you ask challenges me and is exactly what I needed that day. Sometimes the person sitting next to you needed to hear you sing to encourage them to worship God. Sometimes when you watch online, somebody else sees a video that you share, or you have a conversation through that, and so you've contributed beyond what I could do in the video alone. We need each other. So let's take the original community in Genesis, the new community in Acts, and let's use our imaginations to imagine what things could look like in our community today. Or I want you to use your imagination today and imagine with me, what if we could develop the kind of community here in our church that we read about in Genesis and in Acts? And that might seem like a crazy idea, but all it takes is people that know that they're welcome and wanted, who invite people, making this a priority to be here, and that get involved making a difference. If you can do those things, we can create together the kind of community that we read about in the book of Acts. How different would your home be if you were committed to being a part of this community? How different would your team and your neighborhood and your school be this fall if you spent the summer committed to being a part of this church community? I know that you're probably traveling and have things going on. You may not be able to be here every weekend. Well, when you have to not be here, are you committed to watching a video like this on YouTube? That you're watching it right now says that you know how to do that. And whether you're watching it live on Sunday morning or you're watching it later in the week or you've stumbled upon this later on the internet at some point, we hope that you want to be a part of a group of people who know you and that you feel like this is family. That's what we want to be here. This summer, we're doing a series called Summer Road Trip. Today, we're just kind of setting the foundation of saying this is the kind of community we want to be a part of. Well, this community was a part of how Jesus changed the world. And in fact, there was a Jewish a really important guy is a minor way of saying it, named Saul, whose life was radically changed by Jesus, so much so that even his name changed. And we're going to spend 2 weeks in June looking at the story of Saul and how Jesus changed his life. And then in July, we're going to just stop and take a peek at 3 different little snapshots, little quick videos of his ministry, his missionary trips, and see what we can learn from Saul, who became Paul, about our lives and how Jesus can change the world through us today. And so we just want to challenge you to stay committed to being with us, to be a part of this summer. It's going to be a lot of fun. In fact, we have a really cool resource. It's a book on the screen. It's this little thick book, about 300 pages, Manga Metamorphosis, in its Japanese comic style of the book of Acts. We would love for you to read the whole book of Acts this summer, but if reading doesn't excite you, isn't your thing, then we would challenge you that would you try to read this way? These books you can pick up on Amazon for like $13. We bought a case of them. We actually bought 2 cases of them. And so we paid only about $5 per book. And so we're just selling them for cost. Now, if you want to pick one up here in our service, just stop by, bring $5. We'll get you one of these. Or you can come by and email me and let me know, and you can pick it up during the week too. You don't have to wait for the weekend. It's a resource we want to help you to get in the book of Acts. And in fact, at the bottom of every page, it has a little section where it shows you where you can find the rest of the story. If you've ever watched a movie made from a book, you know they can't get everything in there. And so when they draw all this stuff, there's some things they have to leave out. They don't have enough room for, or they don't know quite how to draw that. And so if you go back and read, you can read the rest of the story. It tells you exactly where to go to find out what's on that page. We also have another resource. It's a 5-week Acts reading plan. And so you go through and you scan the QR code, you watch a video from Bible Project that teaches you about the book of Acts, then you read. And in each of those squares, it not only has what chapter to read, but it has what pages to read if you're reading along in Manga Metamorphosis. So however you're reading, or if you're reading this, you're like, I want to read the rest of the story, with about 5 minutes a day, you can get this done in 5 weeks. Now, we have 8 weeks to the summer, so this gives you room and time, but you know what? You either can miss a few days because you're traveling or things are going on, or you can read as much as you want in a day and get ahead. There's no dates on here. So you can check this out. It's available. We emailed parents, so if you don't have a copy of this, you're not going to be at church soon, talk to your parents and you can download a copy of it through the email that we sent out to them just this past week. It's a great way for you to be reading through the whole story of Acts while we're stopping in and looking at a few of those sections together. We want you to know that June 12th and 13th will be a Worship Together weekend, so there won't be a video on YouTube. We won't have any services in person. And the reason for that is that a bunch of us, like 80 people from our 7th and 8th grade part of middle school ministry, are going to be at the Mixed Summer Conference that weekend. We leave on Thursday, the 10th, and get back on the 14th. And so we're going to be gone that weekend, and that's why it's a Worship Together weekend. On top of that, the 13th to the 18th, our 5th and 6th graders have camp, which I'll be at. So that Friday we get back, and then we're back in service. So June 19th and 20th is the next weekend that we'll have service in person, and we'll have a video that Sunday here on YouTube. And so you can tune in. That's where we're going to learn more and introduce you to a man named Saul, the guy we're going to spend a lot of this time this summer with on this road trip. Hey, thanks so much for being a part of our middle school ministry. I know this is just a quick video that gives you a little bit of teaching, a little bit of information, but we hope that makes you want to connect more. We have a link in our video description if you want to share with us something we can be praying about. We'd love to be praying for you. If you've got an answer to prayer, you want us to celebrate with you, let us know that too. Or if you have some questions or want to reach out and connect in some way, then please do so. We can't read your mind, but if you reach out to us, then we'll reach back to you and help you out however we can best. Let me pray for you, and we'll finish up for today. God, thank you for the book of Acts and Genesis showing us what relationships with each other and with you are supposed to be like. Help us to remember all these important things about our love, welcomeness, our wantedness, our ability to be a part of something that's a priority in our lives, to invite and bring friends along, and to be involved in serving ourselves. God, may this community here not just be a figment of our imagination, but be something real that we are committed to creating ourselves. Thank you for giving us that opportunity. Thank you most of all for Jesus. Amen. All right, hope you're having a great summer. Like I said, use the link in the description to connect with us, and we'll see you next time.